She drove through his lawn. I don't know what's worse, her car or that confidence, again. The tires of her red Lamborghini Aventador carved deep into the wet grass. Evan Harlow didn't flinch, didn't look up, just sipped his coffee. Her voice followed, sharp, practiced, public. You're violating Section 4C. This isn't a junkyard. Neighbors paused their walks. Phones didn't record, yet. He raised the mug. Law and order. Black ink on white porcelain. Still warm. She waited for a fight. He gave her silence, but his eyes didn't move from her rear plate. He wasn't insulted. He was documenting. He wasn't always like this. Evan Harlow used to talk more, used to smile easier, but time wears things down, and not everything that's worn is weak. He'd grown up on that land, before the road was paved, before HOA signs started blooming like weeds on mailbox posts. His father planted every fence post by hand, dug until his back gave out. Never once called for help. The sign on the edge of the lot still stood, weathered, leaning. Harlow Lot, established 1958. The paint chipped on one side, like someone tried to wipe it clean, but gave up halfway. Evan never fixed it, never needed to. He walked that line every morning, mug in hand, not to check anything, just to remember. His hand would brush the fence rail, slow, same spot every day. Not habit, ritual. It wasn't about the lawn or the property line. It was about the man who used to stand there, and the way Evan had promised without words that nothing would change unless it had to. People didn't know that, especially not clipboard types with rules memorized but no sense of weight. HOAs meant well, once. Evan knew that better than most. 15 years ago, he sat in a room full of them. Regional code compliance, suburban development review. He learned the game where it was born, watched it twist, watched it learn how to smile while taking. He knew the tone, the cadence, the kind of person who doesn't knock, just points. They always made the same mistake. They thought the law was theirs until it wasn't. Evan never fought them. He just waited, let them think they were winning, let them speak in meetings, send letters, shift fences. Because the louder they got, the more everyone else started to listen. And Evan, he never spoke unless it was already too late for them to backtrack. That's what made him dangerous, not the silence, not the hat, not the history, but the way he remembered everything, every tire track, every word, every signature they forgot to double check. He didn't fight for pride, he fought because there was a line, and someone just crossed it. It started with a turn, too sharp, too consistent. A red Lamborghini Aventador, shiny, clean. Tires heavy with torque. It didn't belong to the house, it belonged to the driver. Someone who believed access came with attitude. Each morning, it cut the corner, not across the street, across Evan's lawn. The same curve, the same mark. Left tire, right patch. Like muscle memory carved into turf. It wasn't vandalism, it wasn't loud, but it was intentional. He didn't speak, didn't raise a hand. He stood on his porch, mug steady in his grip, watched heat rise from the rubber burn, a strip of grass still smoking. She didn't park, didn't slow, just rolled past, windows halfway down, sunglasses on. Her voice drifted out, smooth, annoyed. Your lawn's a mess, can't expect everyone to dodge it forever. Then gone, like she hadn't said anything at all. That night, a paper appeared on the HOA bulletin board, tacked clean, no signature. Header bold, reminder, East lots must meet landscape compliance. Last line, darker than the rest, for the benefit of all residents. People walked by, some nodded, most didn't care. But Evan saw the pinhole torn at the top. Someone had posted, then pulled it down, then changed the wording. Next morning, the shortcut returned. Faster this time. A puff of dirt kicked onto his porch step. He didn't clean it, didn't look up. He just walked to the edge of the lawn, stood where the fence used to be, where his father once drew the line with chalk and stake. The soil there was softer now, but still his, still marked. He looked down, fresh tread, same angle. His hand brushed the fence post again, but slower, as if checking how much give was left in the wood. He didn't need a warning, he had one. And across the street, the red Lamborghini Aventador backed into a driveway that didn't belong to it. Again, no horn, no wave, just that hum, that quiet hum people make when they think they're right. Or worse, when they think they've already won. Maybe you've seen someone like her before, the type who crosses a line and calls it community. I've been there too, watching, waiting, wondering if silence means surrender. Tell me what you would have done, and if you want to see how this ends, you're welcome to stay. The message came in quietly, no greeting, no softening, just a PDF attachment. Subject: curb adjustment request, Eastern End. Language cleaned like it came from a committee. But it wasn't a request, it was a directive. Residents near the cul-de-sac have expressed concern. Please realign your grass border to allow for safe turning. Signed on behalf of the HOA. No name, but Evan already knew whose voice sat behind those words. He didn't reply right away. He just stood there that evening, mug warm in his hand, watching her red Lamborghini Aventador back out once more. The grass was still damp. The tire hissed as it twisted, left another burn, just slightly deeper. He went inside, sat at his kitchen counter, opened the old folder from the drawer beneath the sink, pulled out a survey map, faded, ink bleeding at the corners, dated 1992. The land was marked clearly, lot line solid, HOA jurisdiction ending 20 feet before it. He scanned it, attached it to a blank email, no greeting, no complaint. Just one line of text beneath all the official CCs, privately held land, not subject to external modification, then sent it, no follow-up, no argument, no escalation. But the next morning, Evan walked the fence line, tool in hand, a rusted iron hook bent at the top. One of the old ones his father used for storm gate latches. He pressed it into the wood, re-secured the loose board. Then, without changing expression, he replanted the small red sign at the center of the grass. Private property. Entry at own risk. The wind didn't catch it, but the message stood still, loud. From a second-story window across the street, an old woman pulled back her curtain, watched the moment, didn't smile, just nodded once, then drew the curtain shut. That night, another email came, shorter this time, sharper. If not addressed by Friday, the HOA will consider alternative actions. Still unsigned, still pretending to speak for all. Evan didn't answer. He brewed his coffee. The mug read, Law and Order. But the O in order was now chipped. The next morning, he didn't step back from the fence. He waited. Because sometimes, the smartest trap doesn't need bait. It just needs arrogance and time. He wrote the letter by hand. Ink pen, unrushed strokes, folded it once, then scanned the page and attached it to a group email. No bolded warnings, no passive-aggressive tone, just this. If turning space is truly a concern, the lawn opposite mine remains within the safe margin for vehicle clearance, per the 1992 boundary map. I'm willing to assist with updated measurements if needed. A gesture, polite, cooperative, but the kind that slices if you know what to look for. That same map, the one Linda ignored in last month's HOA review, the one she voted to dismiss because it was outdated. Now it lived in every inbox. Evan didn't stop there. He added one more address to the CC list, Caleb Morris, retired civil engineer, former HOA president, quiet man, left 2 years ago when the board changed hands. His reply came the next morning, short, precise, no emotion, just wait. I signed that survey in 1992. Evan's land hasn't changed. It's not HOA jurisdiction. No one responded, but the silence had shape. It grew. That afternoon, Evan installed a small security camera tucked beneath the shadow of a tree limb. Didn't say a word, didn't post about it. He just waited. The red Lamborghini Aventador came at 6:12 p.m. Same tires, same red coat. But this time, as it rolled across the lawn, the rear dipped. Brief. Software. The right wheel slipped over a shallow trench, exactly tire width, dug just beneath the grass. Not deep enough to damage, but enough to rattle. That night, the HOA's response came fast. Accusatory, alarmed, They called it intentional sabotage, threatened disciplinary action. Evan didn't reply, just forwarded yesterday's message again, and attached the video. The car rolled through clean. No jolt, no spin, just past, no drama, just evidence. At the Thursday HOA meeting, Caleb logged in, said only what mattered. I know that land. I know its lines. And Evan's not the one crossing them. Then, a quiet voice cut through. A boy, 8, maybe 9, from 2 houses down. Spoke to no one in particular, but loud enough. Wait, isn't that his lawn? Why does she get to use it like a road? A few heads turned. No one answered. Evan didn't move, didn't even sip his coffee. He had no need. The trap had been set. And someone just stepped in. The email hit Evan's inbox at 8:01 a.m. Subject: Emergency HOA session. Allegations of endangerment and non-compliance. Called by Linda herself. Open to all residents. Urgent. Public. By 6 p.m., 27 chairs filled the community hall. Linda stood in front, hair fixed, clipboard ready. Her voice rang out, firm, clear, almost righteous. Today, we propose a vote to suspend Evan Harlow's HOA voting rights due to documented violations, potential endangerment, and refusal to engage with community safety measures. No one interrupted. She was gaining momentum. Some nodded, then Caleb stood. Didn't raise his voice. Didn't need to. Linda, he said slowly, you mentioned updated maps. May I submit this into record? He held up a scanned survey, 1992. Original lines, clear jurisdiction. But more important, he continued, turning a second page, here's the 2017 meeting note. Same boundaries, signed and agreed upon. He paused. By you. The room shifted, then another voice. Quiet, older, second row. A woman stood, unexpected. My name is Denise. I was once married to Mark, on the current HOA board. She pulled out her phone, opened an email, held it up for the projector. Subject: Need map edits for drive access. From Linda, to the internal HOA group, dated last fall, text below. He's moving in soon. We need that corner cleared for his car. You know which map I mean. Silence, complete. Even the air felt different. Evan didn't speak, didn't gloat. He simply walked to the table, set down his mug. Law and order faced forward, then slid over a USB stick. One click, footage played, her red Lamborghini Aventador. Rolling across the lawn, wheel touching the marked trench, no damage, no spin, just violation. Linda stepped back. Her hand shook, and when she reached for her keys, they fell, clattering against the table. A branded fob. Limited edition. Logo of the dealership her boyfriend worked at. Stamped, clear. Caleb didn't move, just leaned slightly forward. You asked everyone here to believe your words, he said softly. But today, we're only looking at your signatures. The room didn't clap. No one cheered, but heads turned, chairs shifted, lines had been crossed, and now they were visible to all. The morning after, the grass was still wet, sunlight cut clean across the front lawn. Evan Harlow stood with a hose in hand. Same stance, same boots, same red MAGA cap. But the line, the edge between his yard and the rest, had been painted. Thicker, deeper, red, no one crossed it. Not the red Lamborghini Aventador, not the committee, not even the wind. At the fence, something new had appeared. A single lavender stalk, dried, snapped, placed gently against the gatepost. No note, no explanation. Evan saw it, paused, then picked it up. He didn't smile, didn't frown, just turned and stepped back inside. The gate closed behind him, not fast, not loud, just final. A soft click from the latch, the kind of sound that says, this is done, and this is mine. The street stayed quiet. A dog barked once, then stopped. Curtains didn't move. He walked the perimeter, slow, deliberate, stopped where the trench had been carved. A small brass marker had been replanted, its surface newly cleaned. The engraving caught the light. This line was drawn by my father. I'm only here to keep it clear. No ceremony, no speech, just grass, and space and silence, the kind you don't interrupt. Inside, on the porch, the coffee mug rested where he left it, faded words still legible in the sun. Law and order. A crack now ran through the order, hairline, barely visible but permanent. From the street, the house looked the same, except it didn't. Because now, everyone saw the line, no one needed to be told, they just knew. And as the camera pulled back, Evan still watering, the cap still red, still bold, the final image held steady. Sunlight flared. Law and order caught it, once more. Not everyone wants to win. Some just want no one to touch what they've guarded too long. There's a kind of strength that doesn't make noise. It doesn't need applause or a podium. It waits, listens, builds its case in silence. Evan didn't win with louder words. He won with longer memory, a rusted fence post, a dry lavender stem, a mug chipped at the rim, still used every morning. Those things outlast noise. They anchor a man. When others try to redraw his lines, he doesn't rush. He waits for them to forget why the line was drawn in the first place. Some fights are not about victory. They're about preservation, of land, of dignity, of what came before. People like Evan don't chase justice. They restore it, quietly, one silent correction at a time. And maybe that's what power looks like when it grows old. Not sharp, but steady. Not angry, but exact. In the end, the ones who hold the boundary aren't the ones who shout. They're the ones who remember. Because some lines were drawn long before we arrived, and the wisest thing we can do is not step over them.